So, hey, congratulations on your Grammy nomination.
Thank you so much.
So, for those people who don't know, tell us who is Gina Chavez.
Oh, who is Gina Chavez? So, I'm a native born Texan. I didn't grow up with my Latin roots, and so for me, this has kind of been a long time coming is to create an album all in Spanish. I'm still learning Spanish, but it's something that's always called to me. I've always wanted to connect with my Latin roots. I've had a chance to travel the world with the U.S. State Department as a cultural ambassador. And so I think I'm somebody who doesn't necessarily fit in a box. I think my music doesn't fit in a box. I'm Catholic, I'm lesbian. I kind of walk into two worlds as somebody who's multiracial and kind of feels like I belong everywhere and nowhere at the same time. So I think that's kind of the message I want to send though to people is that none of us fit in a box, right? And the world needs us to be our best selves. And so this album is very much about that. It's about, me being me as a woman, as a Latinx, a lesbian, a Catholic, an activist. And yeah, I'm definitely, I am me, no matter where I am. And so that's why I perform under my own name because Gina Chavez is what you see is what you get.
So, when you did this album, what sparked you to do a all Spanish album? Because I've seen some of your songs before, which is some of them are like in English and some of them are both in bilingual.
hmm Yeah, it's something that I've always wanted to do. I think, like I said, I've always been so drawn to my Latin roots, even though I didn't grow up with them, and I think there's so many people like me who, grew up in this country that has a difficult experience, a difficult time really embracing immigrants, even though we are a country of immigrants. So I'm my raíces, right? I'm half Mexican, half Swiss German, but born and raised in Texas. And didn't grow up speaking Spanish because it wasn't, in the past, it wasn't good to speak Spanish. It was literally beaten out of our ancestors, and so I think that's a reality that needs to change. Our country, we are strong because we are diverse. And so for me, I think I just love the Spanish language and have always wanted to write an album in Spanish. But I do think that it's also something that our country needs, and I perform in large part to Anglo audiences who don't necessarily speak Spanish, and they love it, and I think for me it's a way of saying, hey, the world's bigger than the one you may have grown up in, and there's room for everybody.
Tell us the inspirations for some of your tracks in your new album. Where are you pulling the inspiration from? Is it from Texas? Is it from your cultural tours? Is it from the Latin people? Your background? Where's it all
Yeah.
coming from?
In large part, I definitely write from personal experience. So it's difficult for me to write, if I haven't either met somebody or experienced something. So that's again, like I perform as Gina Chavez because it's really me sharing myself. And at the same time, I'm extremely inspired, by people like, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, by Mercedes Sosa, who's, a voice from Argentina, from the Nueva Trova movement, from, about, gosh, the kids on the border that are separated from their families, and the fact that we literally, that's at the border, I'm from Texas, and that's literally on our borders, is kind of this atrocity. So I'm inspired by the people who are working against that. There's somebody called Sister Norma Pimentel, who's a nun who's been working to really bring dignity to children and families on the border for years. And, it's like those kinds of things really inspire me. My wife inspires me. She's a teacher, and she literally calls me to my best self and is the kind of love that makes me want to write songs. So I don't know. I think it's life, it's people, and the resilience of humanity. to not only survive, but to bring joy into our world in the worst of circumstances. And here we are in a pandemic, you know? So there's been a lot of really great, I don't know, music and creativity coming out of this. And yeah, it's inspiring. Life is inspiring. The fact that we're breathing is inspiring.
And so when you first got the news that you were going to be nominated for a Grammy for a pop rock album, what was your reaction?
Oh man, I was freaking out. I actually captured the moment on Instagram, so you can go watch me scream in my jammies. Um, my, I don't know. I'm still so blessed, so honored. I'm still kind of in shock, you know. And I think that's in large part because I'm a very independent artist. Like I don't have a big team, I don't have a label, and here I am up against, or not up against, but like held alongside musicians like Fito Paez, who's like a god in the rock en español scene, you know? And so it's really inspiring to see that even in today's music industry, independent artists can, you know, can make it, can have their music be recognized on an international level. So it's, yeah, I'm super excited. I feel very blessed. I already feel like a winner, you know, like obviously I'm very excited for today and very excited to find out, you know, if by chance we can actually win this thing. But at the same time, you know, like I already feel like a winner. This has been an amazing experience for me. And this is just, you know, it's another step in the journey and it's definitely the beginning of something bigger.
You know, the funniest thing about categorizing certain music, because they try to categorize you into a pop rock, but how do you describe your music?
You know, that's a great question. I mean, a lot of times I say um, Latin folk pop because I do try to incorporate elements of, you know, sometimes I play a charango or a bombo legüero, or like I love um, kind of these folkloric styles from Latin America, and at the same time fusing them into something that's a little more contemporary. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I think it's up to the listener. And that's another thing that I think is exciting about this nomination though, is that it is hard to categorize my music. It's my music, I've tried even like pursuing radio, and there's not really a good place in radio because it's so genre specific. And my music is, you know, I mean, even just the fact that it's bilingual, it's hard to place me somewhere, but fans love it. Like fans love the variety. You know, we can perform in any like arena, at a church, at a festival, you know, like you put me anywhere and like fans are going to love it. And so I think that also goes to show that, you know, our the way that our industry talks about music needs to change, you know. And at the same time, I do think that the pop rock category for this particular album is a great, you know, it's a great spot, and I'm really excited to be one of the few females that has ever been nominated in the pop rock category. So, you know, bring some love to the ladies.
Tell us about the track that you are going to be singing for us tonight, like Que Manda. I mean, you're very proud of that song, and tell us where that originated from.
Yeah. So La Que Manda was the last song that I recorded on the album, actually in quarantine. So this was going to be a full-length album, and then the pandemic hit. And so I had to decide, okay, we're doing an EP. But La Que Manda, I already had the title. I knew the title of the album, and I was like, man, this is going to be a banging song. This is going to be incredible. And it's a very simple song, honestly. It's a song that basically says, you know, it's for women everywhere, because women everywhere, and I've traveled all over the world, women everywhere, we're told that to be a good woman, to be a good girl, is to be small, to be quiet, apologetic, grateful, to not make too much noise, you know. And it's it's not only unfortunate, it's detrimental to our society, I think, that as women, we grow up believing that we have to, you know, fit into this tiny thing and only take up the amount of space that is under our feet. And, you know, for little boys, for instance, like, you know, if a little boy is loud and boisterous, he's called a leader. And if a little girl is loud and boisterous, she's called pretty ugly names, you know?
Yeah.
And like that's the message of La Que Manda, is basically saying, this is a lie. I'm not swallowing it anymore. And I'm gonna go out and be me to the fullest that I can be and have fun. You know, and I think that's what it is. It's not an angry song, it's an excited song. It's like somebody described it to me as a sacred yell. Like a grito sagrado, like just somebody from the depths just being like, ah, like this is me, like I'm just gonna like celebrate who I am from the depths of my soul. And that's what this song is about, and that's what this album's about.
Well, it's an excellent launching of your song tonight. Obviously, a lot of people is going to be very curious on how is the Latin Grammys going to work, because you are performing tonight. So tell us how is this going to work for you?
For sure. So it is kind of unfortunate because in normal times we would actually be in, so Miami is actually where the Latin Grammys are being held. We would be there. To my knowledge, the premiere show, which is where our song is going to air and where most of the categories, the winners are actually announced. That is happening on Facebook, the Latin Grammys Facebook page, from 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time. Where are you
I'm
located?
on California, West
You're
Coast.
California. Okay, so what is that? 12 to 2 p.m.
Yeah,
your time.
yeah.
So anyway, so our song and our category will be in that time frame. I believe it within the first hour. And then later on in the evening is the televised show on Univision, and that is starting at 6 p.m. your time. And I believe those performers are actually in Miami. But so for the premiere, I think everything is virtual. But we're gonna have like a little kind of social distance outside hang with some people and act like we're gonna have a red carpet and act like we're really there. So not quite the same thing, but I definitely, health is paramount right now. And so I hope that everybody can stay safe and we can still celebrate together.
You ever dreamed of performing for the Latin Grammys?
Oh man, I when we got the invite to perform even for the premiere, I was freaking out. I don't know that I'd actually allowed myself to dream about that. You know, I've in my mind, I've told myself like I want to win a Latin Grammy. But this is also kind of that message of La Que Manda, is that even in saying that, I'm not sure that I really believed it was possible. You know what I mean? Like it was almost like a fake it till you make it. Like, yeah, I'm gonna win a Latin Grammy, you know, and now that we're actually on the day where that could happen, I'm just like, this is pretty amazing. Like it's pretty amazing.
Did you always wanted to be a musician? And where did you learn to play all your different instruments?
So I actually, ever since I was a child, I've always loved to sing. So I got into public school choir, and that's really where I think a lot of just, you know, my kind of honing my skill and being able to explore my musicality really came from. Was I had incredible public high school programs, actually middle school and high school. And then I got to college and was inspired by a local female blues singer to pick up the guitar. And so at 18, I picked up the guitar and it came pretty naturally to me. I do think that the glue of my music is rhythm. And so like I'm very much like a right hand player, where my right hand is the kind of the rhythm driver of my music. Um, you know, so guitar felt really natural. And then, you know, I think I've just, again, like I've traveled the world and picked up some stuff that I think is interesting. And so there's an instrument called a charango that is from South America. It's an Andean instrument. Um, and so I have a little charango. I've got a bombo ligüero, which is also, it's like an Argentine drum. Um, you know, but I don't know. I just look at me llama, like whatever calls to me, like that's kind of what I do.
Well, as I'm going to start wrapping things up, I mean, we're still in the middle of the pandemic, and obviously you were keeping busy with the Grammys. But how are you staying sane and creative during these past few months?
That's a great question. You know, actually, we just released a new music video for the first single off the record, and it's called Ella. And that was one of the creative ways, was, you know, kind of right at the start of the pandemic, thinking, wow, like how can we still be creative, especially when we can't leave our houses, you know? And then I was hearing about the spike in the rise of domestic violence calls all around the world, you know, because people are in quarantine and so many people don't have a safe place to be. Like their home is not safe. And man, it just really hit my heart. And so I thought, well, what can we do? You know, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start reaching out to dancers all over the world on Instagram that I like and just ask them if they want to be in a music video, you know? And so I pulled in an incredible director. Her name is Lisa Donato. And she literally, from quarantine, was able to direct and produce this incredible music video with actors and dancers from all over the world as a way of reclaiming the domestic space for survivors of domestic violence. And so, you know, I think it's everybody's had to pivot. And, you know, one of the great things was, look, we're all stuck at home, you know, so how the worst someone could say is no. You know, like that's kind of what I was like, okay, well, I can reach out and if they don't want to be a part, then they don't have to, you know, like, but we're all potentially available, you know? So I don't know, just kind of like having to pivot and reshift our mindset and understand that like that's what's so beautiful about humanity is that we have this ability to make something great, something beautiful out of chaos, out of, you know, hardship. And so it's been tough, but I think I'm really proud of what we've been able to do. And releasing the album was also a big piece of my quarantine, the quarantines for me.
Well, excellent. I mean, your songs are very inspirational. And one more thing before I let you go, do you miss playing in front of a live audience, touring your fans?
For sure. Oh my gosh. So actually, one of the things I did immediately during the when the pandemic hit. So I got back from tour in March 8th, and literally the world like shut down because I'm here in Austin and South by Southwest was canceled, and like if all the tours were canceled, and so I immediately started live streaming. And I was kind of, you know, before everybody else started live streaming, like I was one of the few people that was doing it every day. And it was exhausting. And I was like, why is this so exhausting? And it's because I'm performing to my face. Like the reason I love playing music is to meet people, is to like connect with people. I love, you know, we can play the same show night after night and it's different every night because the audience is different. And the audience is a whole, it's another band member. Like it's, you know, the audience is crucial to music making. And so for me, it's definitely been really, it's exhausting not having an audience because it's a lack of energy, you know, it's like all the energy has to come from within myself. And yeah, I definitely miss audiences. And so for all of you listening out there, you are very important. We need you. So I can't wait to get back and play live shows. And at the same time, we definitely need to do that in a safe way. And so health is of the utmost importance right now.
Excellent. Well, hey, Gina, hey, thank you for this conversation. I want to wish you good luck today. And I'm going to check out your performance today.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited and really appreciate your time and can't wait to, you know, maybe meet in person.
That's right. Perhaps again. Thank you very much. Bye now.